By now, most of you guys have heard the news about the 3 UCLA players who were arrested in China. The UCLA basketball team went to China for some exhibition games, but when they went there, Cody, Jalen, and LiAngelo Ball were arrested on November 8th for shoplifting. They were accused of stealing Louis Vuitton sunglasses. Now, the only reason this whole situation was made into such a big deal on the news and on social media was because LiAngelo Ball was involved. He's the least talked Ball brother out of the 3, but since he's related to Lonzo, who gets a lot of media attention in the NBA, and everyone knows LeVar Ball by now, this was a big deal. When these guys landed back home from China, TMZ absolutely tortured these guys at the airport.
You guys glad to be back? LiAngelo, did you steal the glasses? LiAngelo, is it true? Did you steal the glasses? You got a message for Trump. You know, he made a call for you guys. It's a big deal. You're the man. What's in the bag, guys? That was a long trip. You guys got anything? Any souvenirs that you bring back?
Did you steal the sunglasses?
Do you think you're gonna play this year? You guys worried about not playing this year? Any message to Trump? Did your brother call you up and give you some love, man? Is the coach upset?
Are you gonna bring world peace?
They were saying things like, "What's in the bag?" and "Are you ever gonna wear Louis Vuitton again?" So the players were arrested, and then they were out on bail and were held at a hotel in China while their teammates were already back home. At this point, they were facing 3 to 10 years in jail, and this was in China where the conviction rate is 99.9%. It was almost a guarantee these guys were going to jail. China does not take stuff like this lightly. But we know they all got out of the situation and they didn't have to do any jail time or anything, and they're now back home. I have so many questions about this situation. First of all, what were these college teams doing in China? Why did they even have a game there in the first place? It makes no sense to me. These players are being treated like they're pros, so they have to go to China just to play each other so the NCAA could have a bigger name for themselves and they could be more known out there. The NCAA did this for one reason, and it was for exposure for themselves, which leads to more money for them. They don't pay these players a dime for playing and yet are making millions off them. I've said this before and I'll say it again. The NCAA is a huge scam. If you guys want to check out a video we did on the NCAA a while back, that'll be linked in the description below. Another question I have is, why did LiAngelo Ball even steal in the first place? This guy drives a Ferrari and he's shoplifting. He's grown up in Chino Hills, his brother's in the NBA, so money is clearly not an issue for the Ball family. He had no reason to steal. This guy is hilarious, man. A few weeks ago when he was at UCLA, when he first got there, there's actually a video of him stealing cookies. So he went from stealing cookies to Louis Vuitton sunglasses. I don't understand this guy. And the last question is, why did these guys get off so easy? Well, it's because they're involved with the NCAA, and this made the NCAA look bad on their part, especially if these guys were going to be in jail for 3 to 10 years. So with all the power the NCAA has, they made a few phone calls, and apparently they got the President of the United States, Donald Trump, to get involved with the situation.
The basketball players, by the way, I know a lot of people are asking to go. I had a great conversation with President Xi. What they did was unfortunate. You're talking about very long prison sentences. They do not play games, and they're working on it right now. Hopefully everything's going to work out, and I know they're very grateful because they were told exactly what happened. It's a very, very rough situation with what happened to them.
Donald Trump tweeted, "Do you think the 3 UCLA basketball players will say thank you, President Trump? They were headed for 10 years in jail." And once these guys were back, they had speeches ready for their press conference. All their speeches were pretty much the exact same. They apologized to their families, to UCLA, the fans, China, and they thanked Trump. And they said they would never make a mistake like this ever again. These guys did not look like they cared at all at the press conference. I don't even know if they actually wrote those speeches by themselves. It seems like someone wrote one speech, changed the words a bit, and gave these players the papers to read out for their speech. Now they're suspended indefinitely, so they could be back tomorrow, next month, or possibly could be suspended for the whole year. But I know one thing for sure, the NCAA did everything in their power to cover this up to save their image, because this was a bad look for the NCAA.